Hello and a massive welcome to another episode of Boxing TV. I'm your host, Dan Hewitt, a professional boxing commentator, and it's great to see you all again. As I say every single week, I want to hear where you're from. I want to hear everybody out there. I want to hear from you. We've got a great community here at Boxing TV, the greatest sport in the world. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure right from the bat, like this video to help push the stream, and make sure you share. Be a legend. Do one thing today, share the stream to get more people watching. We've got 3 absolutely ridiculously good guests here today. Very shortly, we're going to be bringing on Hall of Fame referee, Mr. Joe Cortez. A little bit later, we also have Albert Prince Bell, who's the current WBO, NABO super featherweight champion, who's unbeaten in something like 23 fights, and also former British title challenger, Mr. Fantastic David Jamieson. Great guy. Well, let's hear from you. We've got loads of comments already. I always like going to the fans. Our slogan is bringing the fighters to the fans, and that's absolutely what I like doing. So let's start off with Chris Harper. Hey, everybody. Hi, mate. I hope you're well. Great to see you. Make sure you type in where you're from. I always like seeing the weird and wonderful places that people are from, so thanks for tuning in. We've got Dean Beddoes. Good evening, Dan, from sunny Cheshire, just down the road. Nice to see you, mate. Lovely to see you. Congratulations to Team Lockie coach Jerry Hewitt winning Sports Volunteer of the Year last night at the Loken Awards. So that's great to hear. Well done, mate. Leslie, hi, Dan. Hope you're well. And thank you for yet another fantastic Sunday evening. No, thank you for tuning in. I can't thank you enough. Again, make sure you share, like your life depends on it. And make sure you like the stream. We've got one person like the stream so far. So like that stream straight away. Chris Harper says also a huge congratulations to Sam Hickey. And also Tom Lockie wins Sportsman of the Year. Great stuff. Lisa says, hello, my dear son. Really looking forward to tonight. Great to see you. Lee Hurley with evening, Dan. Evening legend. Nice to speak to you earlier on. Chris Harper's over in Dundee, up in Scotland. We've got another Scot on with David Jamieson a little bit later on. Paul Driscoll even over in Canada. Great to see you, mate. Mike McAndrews, what a legend you are. What a legend you are. I used to work with him a long time ago. And it was nice because there were a bunch of idiots. But it was cool. It was cool. Dean Beddoes, looking forward to another great show. Thanks, mate. And thank you. Big shout out to Mitras Automotive, one of our sponsors. Thanks for coming on. Stephen McCranach. Hi, Dan. Can you ask David what his favorite kind of cheese is? Well, I can do. Yeah, that won't be an issue at all. He's going to be on my third guest evening. I can see him laughing already in the background there. So if you are on YouTube, make sure you like. Make sure you press the subscribe button. It's going really well. We've never touched YouTube. I don't know why, but we're up to 250,000 followers on Facebook. But YouTube, we've never even touched. But we're now a YouTube partner. It's going dead well. So guys, give it a like, and I really appreciate it. Leslie Webster shared. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Bella Lugosi. Ooh. Good to be here. Great to see you too, mate. Love that. And Dean Beddoes shared. Thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. So, first of all, I want to talk about boxing. I want to talk about last night's boxing. So, Devin Haney beat Vasily Lomachenko via unanimous decision in somewhat what people are saying a controversial decision. I'm a bit weird about this, and people know that I'll say it the way it is. I'm not sure if it was that controversial. For some reason, as I was saying to Joe Cortez and David a little bit earlier on, he takes too long to get going, just like he did with the Teofimo Lopez fight. And he did the same thing with Devin Haney. Devin Haney kept scoring, especially to the body, over and over again, which I think was the difference in the first half of the fight. Yeah, Lomachenko did come on stronger later in the fight. He did. But did he do enough to win that fight? I'm not 100% sure. And I don't think it was an absolute crazy situation as it was. I just think that a better guy potentially just, edged it on the fight. Now, first of all, I'm going to be bringing on my first guest. And my first guest is one of my very special friends. I love him to bits. And he is one of the most legendary figures of boxing ever to walk the planet. And I've got absolutely no issue in saying that. He's refereed fighters like Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton, Castillo, loads more, Riddick Bowe, Van der Holyfield. It's just literally the best of the actual best ever. And Mr. Joe Cortez. So I'm going to bring Joe onto the show now, and let's give him a warm reception. Keep all of your comments coming in. Mr. Cortez, boxing royalty. How are you, my friend? Are you well?
It's always a pleasure to be on your show, buddy. You do such a great job, and the fans out there getting the best of the best when it comes to Dan Hewitt with the boxing TV show. it's an honor to be on your show again.
Do you know what? You're just dead cute. I love you, Joe. You're an absolute legend. You really are an absolute legend of the sport. And there's going to be a few things I'm going to ask you. Like I said a little bit earlier about you and your career. There's been a few controversial things happen in your career. You've had some fantastic things happen in your career. But I think it's good to talk, especially to the British fans. Whenever you mention Joe Cortez, some things always come up, which I'm sure you're going to be expecting a little bit later on. Now, starting from you, I mean, you're a Hall of Fame referee. Am I right in thinking, I was looking on BoxRec earlier on today, am I right in thinking did something like 700 fights or something mad? Did you referee like something like 700? These are the ones that were just on there. How many did you referee, Joe?
I think like over 1,000 professional fights, and it's been with 176 world championship fights. So, with that amount of fights, you're not gonna be 100% with your performance all the time. But I mean, I've been inducted to 4 Hall of Fames, and you don't get inducted for just being a palooka. I tried the best I could all my years, and I've had a great time. My main concern was the safety of the fighters and making sure that the fans got their money's worth on watching the fights.
Absolutely. I mean, these are just the ones I store on BoxRec, and probably loads of them aren't even on there. So, yeah, incredible. Over 1,000 fights, 176 world title fights. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Wow, that's just insane. Even to be involved in one of them, is absolutely incredible. So you were inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame alongside Mike Tyson and some other unbelievable fighters. Am I right in thinking, what's the Mexican guy, the most famous Mexican guy?
Julio Chavez.
Yeah. Was it him as well that you inducted with?
Yeah, I got inducted with a great Costa Azul, Mike Tyson, Sylvester Stallone, Nacho Berenstein, a trainer, and myself. Being inducted with Mike Tyson and Julio Chavez, and Costa Azul says a lot, Then Nacho Berenstein is a great trainer. He trained about 20 world champions. And then, of course, Sylvester Stallone with the Rocky movies. And I had the honor of him selecting me. He said, Joe, I want you to do my movie, the Rocky Balboa movie. So I was the referee in that. It was an honor being part of that as well. A lot of fun.
Unbelievable. And do you know what? This is a controversial thing to say, but I don't really care because I'd say the way it is anyway. But I've always said this. Sylvester Stallone is absolutely right to be inducted in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's done more for the sport of boxing than people realize. So and just to give you an idea of my experience, people who just tune in, thanks for coming on, and make sure you share, make sure you like your legends. I've interviewed, and Joe will back me up here, thousands of fighters, thousands of fighters, and I cannot tell you, current champions, legends, how many people started boxing because of Rocky. It's mad. It's done so much for the sport. It really, really has. Now, Joe, you refereed some of the best fights of all time. There's no doubt about that. But one of them was for me the Riddick Bowe against Holyfield situation. That must have been pretty amazing. Tell us a little about that.
Well, they had 3 fights. It was the trilogy, and it was Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, 2 of the great heavyweights. Riddick Bowe was undefeated, and up until Lee Ford, Holyfield beat him on the second fight, and that's when that was in Caesar's Palace outdoors, where the fan man came down, and Mills Lane, the great Mills Lane, was the referee for that fight, and I refereed the first one, and it was a great fight, again outdoor Caesar's Palace, and I did the third one. It was just amazing. The refereeing these heavyweights. They were just like the best. Some of the greatest heavyweights in the history of boxing. Now you got to go. Evander Holyfield, 4-time heavyweight champion. For me, it's just amazing. Muhammad Ali won it 3 times, but Evander Holyfield, I had him on my show, on the Joe Cortez show, a couple of weeks ago, and he was amazing talking about his career. And he corrected me when I said, "Well, you're a 3-time heavyweight champion." He said, "No, Joe, I'm 4-time heavyweight champion." I said, "Well, that's right, 4-time heavyweight champion." So he's the only one in the history of boxing.
It should be more because he beat Valuev, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And he knocked out Mike Tyson. And not many people can say I knocked out Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. He beat George Foreman. He beat. He was just amazing. He beat Riddick Bowe. He beat just so many of the great heavyweights. Tommy Morrison. And I can get a list that goes on of so many great fighters Evander
Yeah.
Holyfield beat. And remember, Holyfield was not that big. I mean, he was
No, not at all.
he's not that, really not that big of a guy. I mean, even though he was a little taller than Mike Tyson, but he was more of a cruiserweight when he became champion. And
Yeah.
he fought very well. I mean, he had a heart of a lion. This guy kept fighting and fighting. No matter what happened, he always gave it his best. Always came in great condition. And to this day, he still looks in good condition, and he's got it 100%. You know, mentally he's there.
I mean, considering the wars he's been in as well, you know, and I know this firsthand. Some fighters aren't with you the same way. I completely get that. So I might make myself look a bit daft here, but am I right in thinking that you refereed one of the ones with round 10 of Holyfield and Riddick Bowe, the famous one? Did you ref that one?
Yes,
with
I
that
did.
insane round. What went through your mind? Because when you look at that back now, Joe, it's like, whoa!
That was one of the greatest rounds in boxing history, the 10th round. That was the first fight. And I mean, me being in that fight, it was amazing. I mean, I'm busy doing the fight, but I knew that it was a hell of a fight. These guys, they were not clinching. They were just bang, bang, bang. But they get into a clinch. I jumped in immediately and separated them, and they kept throwing punches. It was just amazing, amazing 10th round. And I mean, even George Foreman says, you know, that was what had to be one of the best rounds he's ever seen in heavyweight. But these two guys gave it all they had. They have made it happen the second time and then again the third time. Every fight was great. But the last one, I had to stop it with Holyfield put Riddick Bowe down in the earlier rounds, but then Riddick Bowe came back. I think it was in the 8th round. He had him down. Then he put him down the second time, and I just waved it off. I saw enough. You know, Holyfield was great, but I didn't want him to get hurt.
Absolutely. Loads of love coming in. There's guys, I appreciate every single comment. And we've got a really good community going. And don't think for us, earlier on today, Joe, listen to this. So we've got a right good community going. And I thought to myself, why am I not thanking people? I don't know why I didn't, because I always do. And I thought, Joe, I'm going to add them all as mates. I was like, all I did, every single one as friends on my Facebook. So legends, thanks for accepting me earlier on. I thought, you know what? I'm going to say cheers. Cheers for supporting the stream, you little legends. So there's loads of people coming out here. Darren Sherwin, nice to see you, pal. What a top lad. Lama for me. Yeah, it was just close, but we'll go with that. Dean Beddoes, Joey says you're an absolute legend. Love that. Darren Sherwin said legend of the sport. Bella Lugosi, mamma mia, said, hey, Joe. Tom, one of our longest followers. Good evening, mate. Joe is always a superb guest. He is. He's a very special friend. Top man. Lisa said, hi, Joe. Fab that you're on the show. I have a question, please. Has any boxer tried to challenge you behind the scenes over a decision you've made? It's a good question.
No, I can tell you right now, nobody's ever challenged me. You know, everybody knows. I mean, as a referee, you got to have thick skin. It's not easy being a referee. You're not going to please all the fans, especially if you have a favorite fighter that you're rooting for that night, you know. And I've been in fights where, I mean, Ricky Hatton when he fought Floyd Mayweather.
You were preempting that one. You know I was going to go for that, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have thick skin. I love Ricky Hatton. He's a good guy. What a great guy, you know. And he's a great fighter. But for the fans, when they saw, you know, that he was fighting and they were getting inside clinching too much, I break him up, and they say that I let him fight his fight. I think Ricky Hatton was fighting his fight. I let him do the best he could, but then it came to the point when Floyd Mayweather just saw the openings and put him away, knocked him out.
I'm going to stop you there, Joe. As much as I love you, that's my next question, and I am not interrupting that. This is one of the biggest things as far as the British are concerned. Joe Cortez is mainly known for what happened with Ricky Hatton. So hang on to that for 1 second, you little legend. Leslie Webb, good evening, Mr. Cortez. Thank you for gracing us with your presence this evening. Question, have you ever found yourself that engrossed in a fight that you've momentarily forgotten that it's actually you that's reffing it? That's a really good question. All the best, Joe, an absolute legend of the sport. Have you ever zoned out and thought, whoa, like, this is insane?
Well, you know, when I'm in the fight, I'm doing the fight, my main concern was the safety of the fighters. And the second was watching out, making sure that I was enforcing the rules. But safety came first. I was never really involved enjoying the fight. I could not enjoy the fight because I'm really working. I'm not like the fans sitting down and watching, having a beer and enjoying the fight. I'm there working real hard. I'm focusing, on the fighters. I want to make sure that there's no dirty tactics, no fouls, nobody getting hurt seriously. I mean, we don't want any black eyes in boxing and anybody getting hurt. You don't want to see a fighter go out on a stretcher from the ring. And I've seen it happen too many times over and over the years. And my main concern is the safety of the fight. I don't care where you're from, who you are. It could be my brother in there. If you commit a foul, my brother, I will take a point. I've always told my brother, Michael, if I was referee your fight when you were fighting, if I have to take a point, I would do it because that was my mentality. My thing was to be focused on the fighters. I don't care who you are, where you come from. My job is to make sure you give me a good, clean fight.
100%.
But mainly that you come out safe and come home safe to your family when it's all over.
I like it. And keep your questions coming in because obviously I'm going to definitely shout them out to Joe at the end. And I actually have a friend on who someone who I think the world of, who's going to be speaking to you a little bit later on, Chris. I know you can see in the background there, Chris. So stay where you are. We're bringing you on to ask Joe a question. He was like, oh, I really want to ask him. I was like, yeah, cool. I'm going to bring him on. He's the top lad. Right. Let's absolutely approach the elephant in the room. Ricky Hatton against Floyd Mayweather. As a Brit, as a fellow Brit, and as someone, the reason why I got into boxing media was to meet Ricky Hatton, which everybody knows, all the followers know. That's the way I started, and I've done many shows now when I've met Ricky and commentated on the shows, which is fantastic. But at the time, I was still a massive Ricky Hatton fan. Ricky Hatton was like our son, and he's gone over there to fight Floyd Mayweather. Now, I want to be clear with this, Joe. It's not necessarily my opinion. I'm going to take this as a whole. With the Brits, a lot of the Brits thought that you stopped Ricky Hatton from being Ricky Hatton, from getting dirty, getting there, being horrible, like he did against Costa Zoo, and fighting on the inside. Felt that you may have restricted him from doing that. How would you feel about that, Joe? I know you told me about this before, mate, but how would you feel about that, Joe? Why did you stop it?
Well, sometimes when they get inside too close, you see most fight like even last night, you watch when Devin Haney was fighting Lomachenko last night, the referee did an excellent job. As soon as they got into a clinch, he was in there to break him up immediately. Okay. And it was no different than when I was with Floyd Mayweather and Ricky Hatton. It was the same thing. It's just that the fans wanted to see Ricky Hatton fight the way he always fought that way in Great Britain. And it was okay based on referees, let him get away with all that, rough tactic, clinching inside and holding inside. Here, it's a little different. You watch Harvey Doc did a great job last night. He broke him up immediately. And then, I was saying to myself, that was the same kind of break I was doing with Ricky Hatton and Floyd Mayweather. There's no difference to it. It's just that the fans wanted to see Ricky Hatton win. And that would have been great. If I would have been a Ricky Hatton fan, I would have been saying the same thing about Joe Cortez. Yeah. But, I was just doing my job like I always did. And you watch any of my fights in the past, whether it's Mike Tyson, whether it's Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. I've done Lennox Lewis several times. Some of the great British fighters I've done in the past, no complaints from anybody. The only complaint came from the fans that they felt that Ricky Hatton didn't get his shit. It didn't do. Okay. Everybody want to see Mayweather get knocked out. No, nobody. I say 80% of fans I think don't like Mayweather. But I'm there to do my job. I just feel like I'm there to do my job as a referee and take care of the fighter, break him up when I had to. And I thought I was doing my job like any other referee.
To be clear, again, this is not my opinion, Joe, because I think the world of you. But whenever I see this, like I say, we've got a really massive following on Facebook and stuff, especially Facebook. I think we reached like 30-odd million people last month. So things are going great there. But whenever I've mentioned Floyd Mayweather, Ricky Hatton, we're always talking about you. And I just want to know what your response is, because you must have seen it, where people are like, oh, Joe definitely would have, been in Mayweather's pocket, as he paid him. I mean, what does that make you feel like at this point? I mean, what's your response to that? Because, you're my mate, so it winds me up. But, like, what's it like for you?
To me, I'm a fight fan. I love boxing. I love the British fans. I've been there many times, refereeing Prince Nzinga and refereeing Lennox Lewis over there. And the Klitschko's. I did many fights in Great Britain. I love Great Britain. And I have a lot of friends from Great Britain. And I said to myself, I have to accept what the fans have to say. You got to have thick skin. You got to accept it. And I accept it. And, I don't feel bad about when they talk bad about me. I mean, I get a lot of Puerto Ricans that talk bad about me. You know, I'm Puerto Rican. I got a lot of Latino fans
Okay.
that don't like me for whatever reason with Chavez or whatever. And I refereed Chavez 6 times when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. They say, you know, you didn't give Chavez a good chance or opportunity. You know, I can understand that because they love Chavez. And that's okay. The fans have every right to say what they want. But I, as a referee, when I give seminars and I teach referees around the world, I say, be prepared to take the heat. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. You should be a referee if you can't take it. But in your heart, you know that you did the right thing. You're always out there to make sure that the fighters obey your commands and always come back and come back safe. You don't want them to get hurt. My main concern is safety and enforcing the rules. But main thing, I love all the fans from all over the world, and I know a lot of them hate me for whatever reason, and I gotta accept that. I gotta live with myself. I got a beautiful family. I got beautiful friends out there. I got beautiful British friends. I mean, fans that are just the most wonderful friends that I have are British, and you know what? And I love them. I'm not gonna go against the Brits because of that particular fight.
Yeah,
I think Ricky Hatton is a gentleman. I think the world of him. He did so much for boxing, and that he's just a great guy. And you know, he knows he's a good man. I know he's a good man, and I have nothing against him. And I have no favorite fighters. I have no Mayweather and all them guys. I don't care who it is out there. Miguel Cotto, Puerto Rican, or Felix Trinidad. I referee all these guys. I have no favor over nobody.
Unbelievable.
I've taken points from Puerto Rican fighters at championship fights, and people say, hey, Joe, how can you do that? He's Puerto Rican like you. I said, listen, I don't care who they are. I'm there to do my job.
I like it. Now, you also refereed Ricky Hatton against Castillo, didn't you? Right. In an absolutely unbelievable body shot. Left up to the body is what he's famous for. Right. And by the way, everybody, you're watching, welcome to Boxing TV. I'm Dan Hewitt, a professional boxing commentator, and we've got 3 fantastic guests on today. So if you're new to us, make sure you like. If you're on YouTube, you're legends. Make sure you subscribe. We're growing day by day, and I really appreciate every single comment. I've got all the comments. I'm looking at every single one of them. Jamie Rice on YouTube, legend. Make sure you subscribe, pal. I haven't seen you before. Nice to see you, bro. I've got all these comments. I'm going to go to people in a second. So Ricky Hatton stopped Castillo with that left hook to the body, and he went down like a sack of taters.
Right.
He went down like a sack of taters, like a Jaeger bomb on a Friday night. Okay. So what was it like being the ref? Because apparently he broke his ribs. So he looked in massive pain. So just talk to me about, I've never asked you this before. Yeah, so well, talk to us about that.
You know, I think the fans say, oh, well, Joe did a good job with Ricky Hatton that. He did such a great job. Ricky Hatton, he knocked out Castillo. And I mean, that was great. So the fans thought the world of me that night. But when he loses, they hate, somebody got to pay for it. And they picked on me and Joe Cortez. But when he fought with Castillo, he hit it with that body shot. I tell you, it was a devastating shot to the body. And I mean, knocked him out with that. I mean, Ricky Hatton was a hell of a good body puncher. You know, he has he could punch with either hand, and he had a granite chin. He could take a good shot as well.
Oh, absolutely. I spoke to Tony Weeks, again, another fantastic referee. In fact, Joe, do you know what? I'm gonna be a bit outspoken here.
Yeah.
Tony Weeks, I love that bloke. I absolutely love that bloke. And I tell you what, right? Yeah. Shame on people giving him so much crap lately. Shame on you. Just for what happened the other day. Honestly, it fumed me. Tony Weeks is one of my mates. He's a good lad. He's been on the show before. He's a fantastic referee. You know, he refereed Castillo against Corrales, in which one of the best fights of all time, arguably the best fight of all time. Exactly. Again, well, maybe with Gatti Ward, maybe that would be up there. There's a few others, but give the guy a break. And if I see anything like that, I'm giving him crap like he has. Oh, you're gone, mate. Out the window. I'll never. But this guy is a special bloke. He's a lovely man. And mate, listen. He might have stopped it a little bit early the other day, but he's been villainized on social media. Shame on you. I mean, listen. I'm sorry to be a little bit outspoken there, but shit, I love that bloke, and he's proper going in on him. So, and I'm sure you've had the same thing, Joe. Is it? I bet. In fact, you have, haven't you? You've had the same thing.
Let me tell you, I was one of the first guys on the phone. Call him up on the phone the next day to tell him, give him my support, because, you know, sometimes the fans get on the referee. Now, you know, Tony Weeks, one of the best referees out there, did a great job. he got a good heart, and he's a caring individual. And for what? And I said, Tony, I'm surprised that the fans are talking so bad about you. They don't understand that you as a referee in the position that you were in that night, you were at the side. They call it the blind side, and you just were not in the middle of it where he got hit with those punches. But for the angle where he was looking at the fighters, he thought that he was getting hit with the punches. Then when he got, when he went in to stop it, he already thought he got 4 or 5 punches unanswered, and that's when he stopped the fight, knowing that they already hurt. So because he had gotten dropped earlier. So
yeah.
I think that and Tony said, you see, Joe, I'm glad you called me. A lot of fans don't think like you think. You think they don't understand that the referee, the position that we're in,
and the closest to the action, Joe.
Yeah,
Joe,
exactly.
Nobody.
So he meant well. He didn't want to see the guy get hurt seriously. And he figured, well, the guy's 40 years old. He got dropped already once. He said, I don't want to take unnecessary punishment. Yeah. I'm going to make sure I'm going to protect him. And now the fans are criticizing him, not knowing that this guy, Tony Weeks, one of the best referees out there.
100%. Look at that picture. I mean, I've only just released a video the other day of that famous picture with, what's his name? Oh, my God. The Canadian, you know him, when he's got covered in blood. When he's covered in blood.
Hagari?
No. It's the one when he's covered in blood. What's his name? He used to fight for Mayweather. He's gone up. He's cruiserweight champion now. You know him on it. You'll know him on about. He's Swedish originally. You know him on about, don't you? Anyway, he had a massive cut down the middle of his head, and that picture. Yeah. You know him on about, don't you? It's one of the most iconic photos of all time, really. And it's got blood all over. I recently released a video talking about it the other day, and it was like, do you know what I mean? Listen, he's brought so many good things to the sport. And I'm hearing people saying Tony Week and just crap, mate. Like, anybody who does that needs burying. Do you know what I mean? It's pushing someone down like that winds me up. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much into it, but, Badou Jack, Tom, thanks. Badou Jack, when he fought, oh my God, my memory's going terrible. Mark, was it Brown? It was Brown. It was Jack against Brown, wasn't it? And he had that massive cut in the middle of his head.
It was a headbutt. Accidental headbutt. It was really done. It was one of the nastiest cuts I've ever seen. And Tony Weeks' shirt was all full. As a matter of fact, I took a picture of Tony Weeks that night. I said, Tony, I got to take a picture of that shirt. I never seen a shirt full of so much blood. And Tony did a good job in that fight.
He did. He did. Leslie says Tony Weeks. Yeah, Tony Weeks. Check out a YouTube channel if you're new on YouTube. We've got videos coming out there pretty much every other day. And we spoke about this literally the other day. So check it out. Legends. Appreciate it. Right. So for you, Joe, another controversial thing. Sorry to chuck the controversial out to you, but it's just it's good to open these things up. So you refereed Victor Ortiz against Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Now, for everybody who watched Victor Ortiz against Floyd Mayweather was doing what Floyd Mayweather does, frustrating Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz headbutted Floyd Mayweather, and then Victor Ortiz went on to be dirty. And I want you to tell us, Joe, what happened, what you saw, and what happened, because it was a very controversial part of boxing.
Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to go back on this here. I met with Victor Ortiz. When I do some work with ESPN as a boxing analyst, and we had him on the show, and Victor Ortiz told us, they asked us the question, why did you intentionally headbutt Mayweather in that fight? He said, I butted Mayweather intentionally because my trainers told me to stop the momentum, to use my head. So Victor Ortiz came in with the head. But what happened in that particular fight was that when he headbutted him, he said, I'm sorry. I grabbed Ortiz and I took it by the judges to take a point for cutting Mayweather for the intentional headbutt. And then he hugged Mayweather, gave him a kiss. He hugged him again, gave him another kiss, and hugged him again another time. And when I went like this with the hand to the timekeeper, but then they were blocking me. So I looked at the timekeeper to make sure that he saw me give the signal with the hand. And the timekeeper said, like, yes, I saw it. And next thing I know, Ortiz come down with his head like that to hug him again. And then Mayweather beat that he saw my hand go down. We tell the fighters protect themselves at all time, keep your guards up at all time. And Ortiz, by the mistake, trying to be nice again to hug him again the third time, Mayweather clocked it with a left hook and a straight right hand as I was looking at the timekeeper to make sure that he saw my signal. So it was Larry Birchett, the commentator, said it best. He said it was a legal sucker punch, and it
You got to
was.
do what you do to win. I mean, as long as it's legal, then yeah. If you've said okay, fight on, and he's not listened, then yeah. I mean, you see it loads of times, don't you, where they go to touch gloves and someone throws a punch and knocks someone out. You protect yourself at all times. No, I think it's absolutely right.
And then you get the Latino fans that say, "Come on, Joe, you're Latino like he is. How come you didn't protect him? You should have protected Victor Ortiz. You could have disqualified Mayweather, but they don't know the rules." First of all, I don't care. Like I said before, if you're Latino, I don't care because I'm a Latino. I don't care. I don't pick sides with nobody. But I, just say that protect yourself at all times. You tell them that. All fighters know. Keep your guards up at all times. But when you come out there, the only time you're going to touch gloves is at the beginning of the fight. The referee says, "All right, touch them up," and then at with the final round, a good sportsman like how they get last round, you touch them up, they touch gloves. Anything between that, you're not supposed to hug them or touch them. But keep your guards up at all times because once the bell rings, time is in. But so some fans will understand. They think, well, they don't know the rules, but the fighters know the rules. They know you have to protect yourself at all times. Don't drop your guards out. Every fighter learns of that. And everybody that knows boxing says, "Joe, I can't blame you. The fighters have to protect themselves at all times." And I feel sorry for Victor. He's a hell of another nice
guy too.
Oh, what a sweetheart! Really nice. And but he apologized to me every time he used to see me. I said, "Come on, Victor, don't apologize." He said, "Joe, my trainers told me to headbutt him intentionally." He says that was not my style. He said, "I got rid of all my trainers. I got rid of all of them. I got a new team after that." But Victor's one of the nicest guys you want to meet. I feel sorry for him.
Absolutely. Moving on to your career then. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go to some of the fans. Albert, I can see you back in the background there. We're bringing you on very shortly. And then David, sorry, we're going to bring you on a little bit later. Going to some of the fans because I've got loads coming in here. Loads and loads. I'm seeing every single one. There's only so many comments that I can get out there. So keep your comments coming in. I can see them all. Do me a favor. Every single person watching now, press the share button. Share and like this stream. You'd be a legend. Right. So you refereed Mike Tyson when he fought McBride on his last fight.
Right.
Now, Mike Tyson was a carcass, absolute carcass of himself at this point in his career. So surely you must have realized that. Surely this must be almost a bit upsetting to you because you refereed Mike Tyson in his glory days. So from the man himself, what was it like?
I met Mike Tyson when he was 13 years old. He told me one day that he came up to me when he was 13 years of age, and I gave him a couple of good pointers back in New York about doing the right things in life. If you like boxing, stick with it, do it the right way, stay in shape, and whatnot. Mike got in some trouble, and then Culture Battle took him in as his like a father figure.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, a hell of a good guy, and I felt bad for him when I had to stop the last fight against Kevin McBride. Kevin McBride, every time he sees me, he said, "Joe, you're the best referee in the world." I said, "Kevin, listen, you did a hell of a fight. That was a good fight you did with Mike Tyson." Mike Tyson tried everything he could in that fight against Kevin McBride. Kevin McBride, much taller, and I knew that I always felt that Mike Tyson would have trouble with the taller fighters. He always did. With most of them, he put away. But he had troubles with Lennox Lewis. He had trouble with James Quick Tillers. Mike Tyson was knocking everybody out up until when I refereed him against James Quick Tillers. I felt that James Quick Tillers took him to distance. That was the first time that Mike Tyson had to go to distance 10 rounds. And I said to myself, "Well, Mike Tyson having trouble with a big, tall fighter, had the long reach and a good movement from the outside." And that's when Buster Douglas stopped him in Tokyo. And I said, I always said to myself, I always knew that Mike Tyson was going to have problems with a big, taller fighter. And that happened with him with Buster Douglas, even though Mike Tyson would admit later on that he wasn't training properly for that fighter. But Buster Douglas, Mike was really not doing the right things, getting ready for that particular fight, especially when he got there to Japan. and he took Buster Douglas too light, and Buster Douglas took him to school that night, and they did, and then it just went on. That I refereed Mike Tyson on 8 occasions, and to this day, Mike, every time he sees me, he always hugs me. He hugs me and kisses me.
Yeah, I've seen it at the Hall of Fame, Joe, and he's kissing your head.
Yeah. And they know that I was always there to protect them, and I always meant well. He might have been the baddest man on this planet, but my job was to enforce the rules. Even though I took 2 points from Mike Tyson that night when he fought Kevin McBride, when he intentionally headbutted Kevin McBride and cut him. I called time. You saw I grabbed by the wrist, and I took him to all three. I pulled him by the wrist to all three judges. Headbutt, 2 point, not 1 point. I took 2 points from Mike Tyson. And people say, Mike Tyson and Joe is very close with Mike Tyson. I don't care. I don't care how close I'm with Mike Tyson. I'm not close with no fighters, but it comes to me in that ring, I do my job. If I was close with Mike Tyson, I would have not taken 2 points. I took 2 points from Mike Tyson. I love the guy. He's a good fighter, good man. And to this day, he never calls me Joe. He always calls me Mr. Cortez because he respects me. And Mike is a good man. If you get to know Mike Tyson the way I know him, the way you are, if you know him the way I know him, but Mike got a heart of gold. He loves children. He loves to be around people. He loves being around seniors. He loves seniors and he loves kids. But with kids, I see Mike Tyson on the floor, playing with kids on the floor, in his house. I saw videos of him play. I saw a video of him play with the kids on the floor. He just loves to be around children. And one day he told me, he said, Joe, I love children. Seniors, older people, the adults, I can't trust them, but kids, they're so innocent.
Yeah.
He loves them all.
Aren't they?
He's got a heart of gold, and I like that about Mike Tyson. Lennox Lewis, another good guy. Lennox Lewis got a heart of gold. He's just a good man, good. And I remember referee Joe Calzaghe. Oh my God, Joe Calzaghe. I refereed him against
Bernard Hopkins, was it?
Yeah, Bernard Hopkins was the last fight. But he also when he won the first championship against I forgot the fight. Eubank, yeah. Yeah, when he won the first championship.
You're testing me boxing knowledge here, Joe, mate. Woo.
Yeah, I was a referee for that fight when he won his first championship. So I did when he won his first championship, and then I refereed when he had his last championship fight against Bernard Hopkins. And I wasn't taking sides with nobody. I was doing my job, and it was just a great fight. What a good man! I mean, so many good people in boxing. I tell you, Jeff Fennick, another great guy that I refereed.
Oh, love that bloke. He's coming on the show next week.
Oh, what a good guy! He was training on Mike Tyson that time when he fought Kevin McBride. Yep. He was Mike Tyson's trainer, and I refereed him against Suba Nelson here in Las Vegas. Yeah. Jesus Palace outdoors. It was a great fight. And that was my first fight as a referee in Las Vegas, for the championship fight. It was unbelievable.
It's one of my friend's favorite fighters. He's like,
and you know what? What a good guy. What a heart of gold he has too. Yes. Just like Kazuzu, another guy. Oh,
lovely. I spoke to Jeff the other day. Listen to this. So I spoke to Jeff the other day. And because we've been speaking for a while, and if you haven't, make sure you check out, if you're on YouTube, make sure you check out the videos. We're talking about Jeff Fennick being locked in a cage with Mike Tyson's Tigers, and when he found Tyson off his head on drugs. People have seen these things. It's mad. People haven't even seen these videos because we only just got to YouTube. But check them out. It's mad. I want to talk to you about something now, which is we're talking about the current state of play in boxing. Once I've done that, I'm going to be bringing on Albert Prince Bell, who's the NABO champion, who's sitting there patiently in the background after he's been there in Vegas to watch the fight. I can see you, mate. You're a top lad. Appreciate it. Top lad. He's giving me the thumbs up. So Anthony Joshua is going to be taking on Deontay Wilder in Saudi Arabia. Joe, it's a dangerous fight for him. Has he got the mental strength and capability right now to fight with someone that devastating?
Well, you talk about Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has had, I thought he was going to be going all the way, but when he got put up against, when he fought Tyson Fury.
Andy Ruiz, you mean?
I mean, I'll take it back. Andy Ruiz, he got stopped by Andy Ruiz. And I was surprised because, you see Andy Ruiz, he looked like he's out of shape, but he had a lot of stamina. go to him. That does Andy Ruiz his weight. He's always been a big guy. He's never been, under 240. But he was always it came out to fight. And I think the fight with him and Deontay Wilder, I mean, Anthony Joshua's got to do something for this fight, because this is a turning point for either one of them. So whoever wins that fight keeps going forward. Whoever loses got to start thinking of maybe get himself another job, do something different, maybe pack it in as a fighter. But I mean, Joshua has some good skills, and Deontay Wilder is not the greatest boxer per se, but he got a hell of a punch. I don't like
Thor's hammer, mate. Thor's hammer.
But he throws wild punches too wild, and he stays open too much. And I think if he's not careful, and if he keeps his guards up, he'll throwing his punches more straighter. If he throws the looping punches that he throws all the time, left and right, he's open all the time. And that's where Anthony Joshua can capitalize and get under the punches and hit him with straight punches. Joshua can win the fight. But I think Wilder, if Wilder can be more accurate with his punches, don't be so wild. And Wilder seems to get out of. He gets winded after the fourth or fifth round. You wonder, what's wrong? Something is wrong. He's either not training properly, or something is wrong with his body. Maybe his diet is not right, but he gets tired too quick. And I say to myself, a fighter that gets tired that quick, you can't after the fifth, sixth round, he's in trouble. You got six more rounds to go. I mean, halfway through the fight, if you're fatigued, your legs are shot, you're winded, and and if you get hit with some punches, you're gonna go down much quicker than normal. So I think that Wilder has to come in better shape and be more accurate with his punches. Don't be throwing those wild punches. Anthony Joshua, you got to keep jabbing, moving, and straight punches like he does. It's going to be an interesting fight to watch. But whoever loses, got about thinking about packing in that's in boxing. Whoever wins has a good shot for another big heavyweight championship.
Fantastic insight. I'm going to bring on a friend of mine now, actually, Joe, who's a very special guy. I never do this, but I'm going to bring him on to say hi. Now, his name's Chris. He's from Scotland. He's one of our biggest followers. We do a lot of support for boxing in Scotland. Chris, welcome to the show. This must be a bit of a different experience for you, mate, to come on and speak to the likes of Joe. So, yeah.
Very much so.
Fire away, mate. Fire away.
First of all, Mr. Cortez, what a pleasure an unbelievable pleasure to be able to speak to such a legend of the sport. So I really do appreciate your time. So thanks very much for agreeing to speak to me tonight. I do appreciate that. Just to stick with Dan's controversial theme, I believe one of the biggest issues boxing's got to deal with currently is the issue surrounding performance-enhancing drugs. And I think we need to have a grown-up conversation about it. So what better person to ask than someone with your experience about maybe how do we go about doing this? In the past, I've heard theories like suggested maybe we have a performance-enhancing drug division that we see what actually happens when we use all these drugs. Because ultimately, in my opinion, it's really starting to have a really detrimental effect to the sport. So I'd be really interested to hear your views on that, Mr. Cortez.
Well, I didn't quite understand a little bit what you were saying, but
it's okay. Let me do it. He's Scottish. It's hard for me to understand him, never everybody else. So what he's basically saying is, there's a massive issue with drugs and performance-enhancing drugs in the sport of boxing, and there's been a suggestion of a weight class, let's say, for people who can just go crazy on performance-enhancing drugs and just have a war. So he's asking basically what your thoughts are, what should happen, and your thoughts are there.
Well, here in the United States, we have a drug testing program where the fighters get tested before the fight and after the fight. And then some fighters, sometimes they have random testing for drugs. That means that the fighter could be training in the gym, and somebody can show up to the gym and say, excuse me, we're going to do a drug testing of you right on the spot. Yeah. They take it to a back room. And this way, the fighters know that at any given time, they're going to be tested for drugs whether it's before the fight, during training, and after the fight. So you have to check them very carefully in between, especially if there's a habit of one particular fighter had been doing drugs in the past. Now, that particular fighter, you have to check him on a regular basis because you don't know whether he's doing drugs again or not. So it depends on the commission that's regulating in that particular country or for a championship fight, that they got to have a mandatory drug testing done on a regular basis. And I mean, and the thing is educating these fighters that, you're not going to get it nowhere in life doing drugs. A lot of fighters, they think they can get away with it for a little bit, but eventually it catches up to them and the career is cut short. Not only the career is cut short, but their
Reputation.
life,
legacy.
It destroyed their whole life. And then the embarrassment, not only for themselves, but for the family as well. So it's best to have random drug testing on a regular basis.
I'll try and speak a little bit slower so I don't need a translator. I'm aware, obviously, there is drug testing in place, but there still seems to be a massive amount of boxers still willing to take that risk, still slipping through the net, and still fighting. And somebody's definitely going to end up getting hurt. And I just find it's really difficult to come up with an answer. So I thought, who better to ask than you? And I know it's a very difficult question, but maybe some of the people in the comments, they would maybe have some more of an idea. But
well, the idea is to have somebody come in to where they're training in the regular training. When they're in there, somebody comes. They don't know when they're going to show up. They show up unannounced.
They do that, Joe. They do that now, to be fair. That's what happened with Tyson Fury before this whole...
Yeah.
I'm not going to... Listen, I know it's controversial, but Tyson Fury, someone walked in his gym, apparently, and I'll say apparently, he told someone F off, and then he went on a massive binge booze of coke, and I'm not going to go into it. Trust me, I've got my own opinion on it. But
that's where you catch them.
Yeah, you've got that. Chris, thanks for coming on the show, mate. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate that. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Cortez. It's good to see you looking so well. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Keep your guards up at all times. Always protect each other at all time.
Oh, I'll do my very best. Thank you very much. See you. Bye.
Top man, mate.
Bye. Yeah, that was a good question that he asked, because a lot of individuals out there are probably watching this show. That mean somebody that's doing drugs in any sport. That's why they get banned from the sport temporarily. They get banned, they get fined. And some of them repeated offenders, they get banned permanently.
They should be.
But if you know somebody that's doing drugs, the thing is for them to go some kind of a rehab program, because they got the talent, and then you have to go to a rehab to try to kick it. But the thing is to get yourself in with the right people and do the right things and stay away from people who are doing drugs. But you're like an alcoholic. Alcoholic, they have an Alcoholic Anonymous program here in the United States. They call it AA program. Yeah. And they have to go to the program. And just because you're not doing the alcohol anymore, they still want you to continue going to the program. Yes, to keep you away from that, because once you get to doing it one time, you can fall back into it again later on in your life.
Absolutely. Joe, I just want to say a huge thank you for coming on the show. You're a brother to me. And, I'll always have the most huge amount of respect for you. It's unreal.
I feel the same way about you. Your wife and your children. You have 2 kids now, right?
Yeah, Lily and Noah. Lily was 2 days ago.
Yeah. See, I remember. I still got a little spark of the old flesh. I still remember a little bit. But I know that you're a good man and you're good for boxing. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing to get the viewers out there to understand about what goes on with referees, judges, boxers. You have everybody on your show. So important. Timekeepers, cutmen are very important. Have all the people on the show so people can understand what goes on behind the scenes. Yeah. Boxing is not just what happens in the ring. It's what goes on behind the scenes to preparation for a fight. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. Dan, love you and love all my fans out there. And those that don't love me, I hope you start to love me, because I'm a good guy. I love you guys all, no matter what.
Before you go, you've got to give me a fair but firm.
Hey, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up. Take care. God bless you all.
Love you, Joe. See you soon, brother.
Bye-bye.
What a man. What an absolute legend of the sport. If you're new here, thanks for joining. I'm Dan Hewitt, professional boxing commentator at Boxing TV. We've got two more guests to come on the show. Mr. Albert Prinsbal, the NABO champion, and also Mr. David Jamieson, the Scottish legend, who's going to be fighting again for the potential chance of the British title again. Really looking forward to that. So I'm going to be bringing on my next guest now, Mr. Albert Prinsbal. Albert has had 23 wins, no losses. He is unbelievable. So stay tuned. Albert, how are you getting on, brother?
I'm good.
Top man, thank you for being so patient. Me and Joe go a long way back. I guess you're there, just to give you an idea. Albert's there in Vegas right now. He was at the fight last night for the Devin Haney and Lomachenko. He's a fantastic fighter himself, and he's there. Bless it. Looks like quite a nice hotel room in Vegas. You got there. I'll give you that, mate. I'll give you that.
I appreciate it.
Top man. So you are an unbelievable fighter. Now you've had 24 fights. I'm right in thinking. But you've had 23 wins. One of them was a no contest. So, but still, 23-0 officially as a professional. So, what a fantastic fighter you are. I really appreciate you coming on the show, mate. Very, very much so. Bless you in Vegas. I'm sure them slots are shouting you, and then you're sitting there listening to me moaning about drugs. But anyway, still. So, let's start from the very, very beginning for you, because it's the first time we've actually face-to-face met. In a certain kind of way. Right. So, what started this whole journey for you then? What kind of got you into the sport of boxing? Well, I'll prefer put him on the stream instead of me. That'd be a good start.
Yeah, my father was a fighter, so as well as my oldest brothers, I'm the youngest of 6 children. My older brother boxed my uncle, so I used to just go to the gym with my dad, and that being my first superhero, I just wanted to be like my dad. So, just hanging out in the boxing gym. And just being around it so much that I used to get babysitted in the gym. I'd just be the bad kid running around, just punching stuff. And, I just loved it, and it grew on me. And by most kids was learning how to walk and talk, I was learning my basics and my jabs and my right hands and how to step with punches and stuff. So it was just, it's a family thing, and I just took it and ran with it. And once I was old enough to fight at 8 years old in the United States, I won every tournament it was coming out my first year, and it just continued ever since.
Absolutely unbelievable. So, like I say, 23-0. I mean, that's no mean feat. I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable. You're on the quest for superstardom, as far as I'm concerned. 23-0. I mean, you're there, aren't you? I mean, you're on the cusp of being a superstar at 23-0. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. But what's been your hardest fight, and what have you learned? What did you learn in that fight?
My hardest fight was probably my step up fight when I was 14-0 at the time, and Top Rank had me fight on the Tyson Fury undercard when he fight Joe Schwartz, I believe. And I fought a guy that was 22-0 at the time. He was defended. He was in line. He was supposed to beat me and fight Jamil Heron for the world title next. If Jamil Heron was supposed to beat Ioto at that time. I was 14-0, fought a guy 22-0. My first 10-rounder, haven't been past 6, and on a massive card at the MGM Grand. And it was a good fight, but I won 7 rounds to 3 on all cards. I really feel like it was 8-2, but it was just, I just had to dig deep, you know what I mean, and find a way. It wasn't as comfortable as I'm used to dealing with in boxing, you know.
Okay.
Once I figured it out and caught my second wins and going through the rounds, you know what I mean, I did what I was supposed to do, but that was probably my toughest fight.
That's a learning fight, though, isn't it? They're the fights you need.
Yeah, it was learning. It was learning on the job. Yeah.
That's the fights you need. So, I mean, you're 30 years of age now. So, spring chicken. I don't know if you know what that means. Right. You're not getting on. Don't get me wrong, But at 30 years of age, as a super featherweight, it's not the youngest. So, what's the plan for you? You're going to put 23-0 now, so you're prime of your life. You're pushing on prime of your career. Are you going to be pushing on for titles now? I mean, what's next for you?
That's always been the plan. It's hard to get these guys in the ring with me. When I believe I'm the most avoided boxer at 130 pounds by far. You know, top rank when I was with them, it was a whole stable of guys that was undefeated or fights that could be made. Like it was it was the pick of the litter, and all them guys turned me down. Like that's the reason why I stepped away from top rank. Like I wasn't released or anything like that. I was asked, like if I'm not going to get no opportunities, a step up fight, like a bigger fights to get me to my ultimate goal, become a world champion, then let me just, you know what I mean, let me step back and, you know what I mean, readjust my career and see if I can go somewhere else or on my own or whatever the case may be, because they couldn't get the guys in the ring with me. They own records saying it. They did interviews about it. I never turned down fights. So right now, I'm just trying to get in a situation where I'm probably mandatory. That's the only way that I fight.
To force them.
Yeah, so I probably would have got it. Probably would have got the fight if Valdez lost last night, but he came out on top. So him and Navarrete get it all. So
I like Valdez. He's one of the nicest blokes I've had the pleasure of interviewing. Great guy.
So I want the winner of that fight. Hopefully, you know what I mean, I'm in line for it. But if not, maybe if we trying to do it, me and Archie Sharp been talking about doing a fight with each other.
Okay.
He said he's avoided, I'm avoided. We done talked, we done been very respectful, but we just trying to get the W. If we do it, we want it to be a final eliminator. We need it in writing, you know what I mean? So so we for sure, because they passing over him. And he's number one, and they won't give me the opportunity. So if we fight each other, if two fighting the champion and 1 and 3 fight, get it that we 100% fight the winner of that fight or whatever the case may be. So, or if I get the shot, I give him a shot, and I hope he do the same. You know what I mean? We avoid guys. So, I'm just waiting on the smoke to clear with them, and I'm gonna stay active and stay busy in the meantime, and keep climbing the ladder. That's all I can do is just keep winning and staying consistent with doing what I do.
I like it. Dean Bedo said, "What belts do you hold?" So he holds the WBO, NABO, which, just to understand what it means to us over in the UK. So it's a bit like the European title, but it's the North American title.
North American Championship, yep. So
for the WBO.
I was also the WBC Continental Americas champion.
Fantastic.
It went vacant. Then I went and got the NABO joint.
Fantastic. George Vaylor, big shout out to you, mate. Great to speak to you on Facebook. And I'm going to be doing more of this. Everybody, keep your comments coming in. I've literally seen them all. George Vaylor, how much longer are you planning to fight as a boxer?
Like you said, I'm 30, but I'm a young 30. I had managerial situations early in my career that left me out for 2 years. You know what I mean? Until I got things back on track. So I'm really like a 28 in boxing. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I never take punishment. All my fights are very clean cut.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I feel great. So as long as I just keep winning and performing at the level that I want to, you know what I mean, and get to accomplish the things that I want to do and set out from the beginning, I'll be fighting, but not too long and not too over the hill at all.
Well, I think that being in wars is a huge part of it. I mean, some fighters can be 24 and be absolutely shot because they've been in war since they've been 18. So I'm with you there.
Now I want to sharp, full intact, no gym wars, none of that. My boxing is my boxing. You know what I mean? So I'm good. I'm pretty good on the age side.
Now, surely the Brits must be on your radar because there's 3 of them in the top 11. You know, you've got Anthony Kakache, you've got Joe Cortez, Zelfa Barrett are all within top 11. So, I mean, these are big fights. Joe Cortez is a fantastic, talented fighter. Zelfa Barrett, very fast, doing better and better each fight. So what's are these fights you'd like to take maybe over here in the UK if you get the opportunity?
Only fights that I'm really interested in with the UK is either Archie Sharp or the Jorkadina fight. I want either guys that's ahead of me in the rankings or guys that's world champions. I don't care which country they're from.
Okay.
Or then I just want world champions or anybody that's ahead of me in the rankings so I can take their spot. Like I'm on.
So Kakache, Barrett, and Cordina are all in top 11 in the world. So are these all fights that you'd take if you get the opportunity?
If it makes sense. If they get me to the ultimate goal of becoming the world champion, then that's what it was. But I really just want the champions and the guys that's number 1. or something like that. Like that's the only thing I'm really
Yeah.
like interested in. No
You
matter
have
if
you have to prioritize now, don't you? I mean, again, I don't want to talk about age again, but it's one of them, you know.
Like, because I'm looking on you fight probably one more time before I get my world title shot. So
Okay, cool.
it gotta make sense. And to answer your question as well, of course, I told Archie Sharp I'd come over to the UK and box him. I would fight Joe Cortez and like whatever I got to do to become what I need to become in life and reach my ultimate goal. Then that's what I got to do. If I got to go to enemy territory, then that's what we do.
Really, really interesting comment here, actually, Albert, from some very special friend of mine, Lee William McAllister. Now, Lee this is crazy. He's won titles from lightweight to heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even joking. So he's just put age is just a number. When you feel you're struggling at the weight, move up, as it'll give you a longer life and career. I mean, from the horse's mouth. I mean, he beat Danny Williams at heavyweight, who beat Tyson.
Yeah.
Crazy, is that? From lightweight.
For sure.
And big shout out as well to Assassin Boxing Promotions and Management, who've got a show coming up very, very soon, the beginning of June. I'll be, fingers crossed, going up to Aberdeen to commentate on the fight over there. So I'm really looking forward to that. George Vela says, great response. Thanks, Dan. No problem, mate. Anytime. Lee says, Joe Cortez will fight anyone. He's number one at the moment. Yeah, he's talented. I don't think there's any doubt. He is a
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that he's one of those guys that's going around ducking and stuff. He's, you know what I mean? That's one thing with the fighters over there, that they are willing to fight and they box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I tip my hat to them and I shout to them. Me and Jordan Cardina never had conversations about talking before or nothing. So I could never put that on his name. So I'm just.
There's no disrespect here. I mean, let me be clear. There's zero disrespect here.
So that's a fight that I would, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that's a fight that I'm interested in for sure.
Oh, absolutely. The difference is, Albert, is with, and this is why I kind of, it's weird. So our community here on Facebook and YouTube, we've got a huge outreach, but I don't go to press conferences. I don't go to what time is it? Okay, cool. It's past the watershed. I don't go to the bullshit. Like, I don't want to go to your press conference and ask you the same question you've been asked a million times. How has your training gone? How has camp gone? It doesn't interest me. Do you know what I mean? I do this because I want people to understand who you are. Do you understand as a person? And one thing I'll never do is, because I understand the game. I understand that, you know, when you mention someone's name, the next thing you'll see is you're up in headlights. Albert Prince Bal calls out Joe Cortez. No, that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is you're respectfully saying, listen, I want to be the best, and I'm going to do everything I can to be the best, and I'd like to fight you if you're the best. You're with me, aren't you? Are you with me? What I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try to keep everything classy and respectful, but for the most part, answer everything humbly as I can.
I love it, mate. Absolutely love it. Dean Beddoe said, would you like to fight in the UK? He's pretty much answered that question.
I would love to fight. I would love to fight over there. Y'all have a great boxing community. Y'all behind y'all fighters 100%. Y'all show up like into boxing matches. Y'all sell out stadiums of 90,000 plus in a day and stuff like that. Y'all boxing
crazy,
community over there is absolutely is y'all behind boxing. Y'all probably some of the best boxing fans in the world, and I would love to come over there and box. And y'all appreciate.
You're a bit of sweet Caroline.
Y'all appreciate the art of boxing. Y'all know like how to point
absolutely
in boxing and this and that.
This is where it originated, Albert. It originated here.
So it's just so I would, to answer that question, I would absolutely raise my hand and fly over there to fight in a heartbeat.
I'll take you for a cup of tea and a beer, mate. No problem at all. After the fight. Lisa Webb said, "Good luck for the future, Albert. Love how relaxed and happy you come across. Very infectious smile. Ooh,
thank you.
Whoa! It looks like you're pulled. I like that.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate it.
Do you understand what the word pulled is?
No.
That means like if you're in luck.
Okay.
George Vale says Albert is a smart guy as a person. Then Dean Beddoe said, great record, Albert. He has 23-0, unbelievable. Leslie said, that's when it is all about to be the best and facing any obstacle that you see in your way to get there. Absolutely. Chris said, nice lad, all the best for the future. Sound switched on. Right. So you were there for the fight last night against Devin Haney against Lomachenko. I'm gonna put my bit out there first and say that I don't think it was quite as controversial as people are making out in the press. And I'm always the first person to tell the truth. But I think that the beginning of the fight, Devin Haney did really well for maybe 4 rounds, but then he did land some really telling body shots, which I think the judges saw and I definitely saw. And they do count. They do absolutely count. So do you feel the right person won between Lomachenko and Devin Haney?
To be honest, watching it live, being there, it was just a great chess match from round 1 to 12. Both guys had their moments. Like, it'd be rounds, Devin to come out controlling, then Loma fighting the spurt, and people would think he stole the round, but then it'd be some rounds where Loma just had a great round, then Dev would come back. Like, it was just a back and forth battle. I want to watch it on TV and just without the excitement of the crowd and the fans screaming, whatever, who they represent name. I just want to watch the fight again and really give a detailed answer on that, because in the moment, I say they could have went either way. I wouldn't have been mad at a draw. I wouldn't have been mad if Loma won.
Agreed.
I'm not mad that Devin won. So I just think it was a good fight. I don't think it was that controversial.
Yeah.
People got to quit saying boxing matches are robberies just because the guy they rooting for didn't win, or if it was a close fight that they didn't that they person didn't win. You know, like And then it's a lot of bias when commentating fights that persuades fans while they're watching this to get you the guy to see it their way. So sometimes you have to watch a fight on mute or without the commentation and just really watch what you're looking at and give it a go from there and just score it round by round. And people forget that fights are scored round by round. It's not about the points or the most punches necessarily, but like, okay, like you said, he'd come out, he'd have great early rounds. Those are rounds you can never take away. Once the round is scored, they're on the card. So so if Loma come off strong and start landing all type of power shots and hurting Devin, it's not a 10-8 round. It's just another point added. So you still got Devin points that he accumulated, and then Loma had some real good rounds in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. That might have been dominant. That's still 2 rounds to his 4 rounds. Like, no matter how you look at it. So people don't understand really the scoring of boxing, I think, and that comes in part of the controversial thing when people say get robbed, because they might see a guy get battered for 1 round and then jab away the next round and lose the round. So it's just one of those things. But I want to watch it and go tally by tally and put my own scorecard up and see what it come up with.
I like that.
You know,
this is a controversial thing here. I'm going to chuck this straight. Sorry, go ahead.
Not been in the ring with both. You know what I mean? Like, so I did a whole camp with Lomachenko. Me and Devin been doing each other since we were younger. We boxed and sparred multiple times. So I had a very telling insight going to the fight. And it kind of played out how I thought it would. I knew it was going to be a competitive fight. I know Loma was going to come at his best. I knew it wasn't going to be the same Lomachenko that fought Jermaine Ortiz earlier that year. I knew he was going to become his absolute best, and people were counting him out and making him this super underdog. And but they forgot Lomachenko is Lomachenko. Oh, sorry. So,
it's all right, mate. I was just hoping you had some trousers on.
Make sure.
And make sure you're wearing some pants. Right, I'm gonna chuck this out there as a risk, actually. As a risk, but I want you to see this as I'm always on a neutral base. So loads of hate has been going to Devin Haney for some silly things that he said in the past. Now, I said a similar kind of thing to Amir Khan very recently, when I said, if Amir Khan was white, would he have a much more love for the British fans than he did as in his career? And I honestly believe if he was, he would have had more fans and more followers. Now, Devin Haney said some silly things when he was saying, I'll never let a white boy beat me. Now, all this hate I'm seeing every day to Devin Haney, do you feel that might be fueled from these silly things he said?
Yeah, I didn't even know that was said, but I know some fighters do say stuff like that. I know Bernard Hopkins was quoted saying it before. And was it Anthony Durrell that said it? I don't know. Some fighters say thing. I don't know what it be. It could be to build a fight. It could be what they personally believe. I don't know. You know what I mean? I believe we all created equal, and fighters are fighters. You know what I mean? Like the best man gonna win no matter the race, the color, the creed. If when you get in the fight, you get in the fight. So I don't know if that's where the hate coming from, or do they just not like him, or his character, or his personality, or how he boxed. And some people, I get the same thing. Oh, they're boring. They box, they jab, they move around, but that's what win fights. But I really don't know where it comes from. You know what I mean? But I just know him personally. He's a great guy. Great young man. Great family man. Does a
and
lot.
He is a young man. He is a young man. So, you know,
Yeah,
we've all
he's
done
very
stupid
young.
stuff. I mean, when I was 23,
Yeah, and he's so you know, they'll grow to love him if you know what I mean, he stays on top to keep doing what he's doing, you know what I mean? So
I do feel
they
that's where
might.
it's fueled from, though. I do feel, you know, from the fans, seeing the fans every day, I feel that maybe some of that is fueled from some of the silly things that he said. Question for you, and I can't even ask a better person than you. So there's certain fighters, irrespective of race, to be deadly clear here, okay? Irrespective of race. So there's certain, let's say, character of fighter, specifically in the US, like your Devin Haney's, Tank Davis, your Charlos, your Errol Spence's, who like to play this, how do I explain it? Like part-time gangster stuff, drinking, in trouble with the law. Are you with me? Yeah. Domestic abuse. Like, not all of them, but between them. Is this good for boxing? Is this bad for boxing? Is this what we have to expect?
It's like, okay, a lot of, well, in America, boxing is the sport of the have-nots. So this the only sport where no matter what your grades is are in school, like you academic line, if you didn't do your homework or something, if you know how to fight, you can make your way out and change your circumstances of your life and your family. So boxing, it's a poor man's sport in America. You know what I mean? Your best fighters come from poverty neighborhoods and the ghettos. We call it the trenches or the mud. And we literally got it out with just our two hands. So it's not an act when we say gangster. I mean, like act part-time gangster. It's just the culture of where we from and how we was raised and where we grew up.
Yeah.
And just because the fame and success come, a lot of people not even know how to deal with fame and success. They just look at themselves as regular people that still from the hood or the neighborhood, and they still have the same people around them from the hood neighborhood. So you get caught up and being still a product of your environment, even though you're no longer in it. And just life problems is gonna always happen. And people are young, they're young, talented, with a lot of money and fame. Sometimes overnight, and it's hard to deal with and take it in all at once. You know, being that you was poor your whole life and you still making mistakes, but you just got the eye on you, and people can't wait to down you anyway or kick you when you down. So they just going through life problems that everybody else. They just happen to get caught on camera or in the news or in the headlines. But it's the stuff that everybody goes through every day. But as far as being fake gangsters, I don't see it. It's just how boxers are.
That's what it's seen from the outside, though. And I'm saying from the outside, it's a neutral because, listen, absolutely nothing against them. Like I've spoken to someone, it's like, just
most fighters are really from where they are, where they're from. You know, like.
That's a fantastic insight, Albert.
Like
fantastic
Davis,
insight.
Like, you gotta think Tank Davis, he speaks on all the time. He was in group homes growing up. He was in like an orphanage.
Was it Baltimore? Was it
Baltimore, Maryland? Like these places that we come from, all our friends that we grew up with or started with, boxers, are dead, murdered, all type of stuff.
Yeah.
We are like the ones that took it a little step further, but the other guys that was next to us was just as good or something.
Yeah,
but it's and then like gang activity is crazy. Just because you born somewhere, you automatically from there. It's like we surrounded by drugs and dope dealers and stuff like that. So this is what we just know and what we see. It's not like it's not a trying thing. I think it's just a life thing, and you know, people, it's just what they're going through. You know what I mean? But is it good for boxing? No, I don't believe it's good for boxing. Make headlines, but every headline not a good headline. You know?
Do you know what, Albert? Just really quickly, I've spoke to many fighters, many thousands, legends, prospects, champions, and I'll honestly say, straightforward, that was the most respectful and thoughtful answer I think I've probably ever been given.
I appreciate that.
I really mean it. I really mean it, because you're right. You are right. And it made me go, yeah, maybe I'm being a bit of a dick here. You know what I mean? Because the truth of it is that these people have come from nothing. And trust me, I know. I speak to them all the time, fighters out in America. I know the stuff they've been through. I know the trials and the tribulations. I spoke to fighters where the mum's been on the streets. Do you know what I mean? As a prostitute. And yeah, we do see that here. Of course we do. But it's a lot more rife in America. So that's a fantastic.
No, I like it myself.
No, that's really cool.
I lost my mother this year. You know, she had lifelong drug addiction. You know what I mean? She had her ups and downs. My father was been incarcerated multiple times. My best friend was murdered when I was 19 years old. I lost countless people in their 20. I lost over 30 people before they was 25. You know what I mean? Just being in the neighborhood that we from and stuff like that. So it's just, but it's just it's how you choose to carry yourself. I'm not perfect. I just try to put my best foot forward and be a positive light and role model and show kids where I'm from that it's a different way than choosing this life or that life. But it's a constant struggle daily of stuff happening and being around you. You know what I mean? I know my boxers that's best friends, Robert Easter Jr., great fighter, one of the greatest, silliest guys I know. Getting in trouble about some stuff that happened in a club before, or getting robbed for his jewelry and getting shot, and or Tyler McCurry just came back on my fight. We in the car on his birthday, he gets shot. You know what I mean? It's just it's stuff that's going on that's dealing around us and with us that a lot of people don't know on the outside looking in. And they just see these boxers, but at the end of the day, when we get out the ring, we real people, and a lot of stuff goes on that we don't have control of, But I guess I just wish everybody the best, man. You know what I mean? And people just gotta be a little understanding.
You're really cool. You are. I like you. You're a top lad. You are. No. Listen. If you understand when an English bloke says you're a top lad,
okay, appreciate it.
That. I'm telling you, Lee McAllister said 100% top lad with head screwed on. Proper, massive respect. Where can we? So you're going to get a lot of fans from this. I'm telling you now. You've carried yourself so fantastically, and all your bring all your comments in, because this guy, I'm telling you now, how sound is this guy? Make sure sound means cool in the UK language. But keep your comments coming in. I want your message to Albert. What a great guy. I'm going to be bringing David Jamieson on very shortly. I know he's got a fight coming up, so I'm conscious of him being up too late. Bless you. I can see in the background there, David. I'll be with you very shortly, my friend. He's awesome. So keep your comments coming in. Question I've got for you, though, because what a great guy you are. Where can we find you on social media, and where can we follow you?
Well, my Facebook is Albert Prince Bell. Like I just had it show up on the screen, Albert Prince Bill, directly like that. And my Instagram is Albert Prince Bill all together. And then my Twitter is Albert Bill 419. But I usually just be on Facebook and Instagram mostly. So that's where they can follow me at, Albert Prince Bill.
Albert Prince Bell. Love it. Let's have a look at you. There we go. This is interesting. Now wait there. Dean, I'll get you on next. If you want to come to the UK to cause a stir, get in a camp training at my gym. Always welcome. So
I appreciate that.
This is a gym in Aberdeen in Scotland. And honestly, you should see the drive up there. Like, if you American guys, you'd be like, whoa, like cliffs with the sea and seals and all mad stuff. It's pretty amazing.
I like stuff like that.
Lee's a fantastic fighter himself, to be fair.
Sure.
Here we go. We got loads of love here. Keep being you, Albert. Lovely lad.
Always. Thank you, Lisa. I definitely appreciate it.
Like that. Chris Harper, great shout, Lee. Yeah, great. You should get up there. Here we go. Indeed, a sound guy, great guy, and a role model. Give back to those less fortunate and help them on their journey. I like that.
For sure. I do that. That's one of my main things, It's one of my main things. I've been doing it even before I was big in boxing. I used to do so much community work and just paying barbers 3-4 hours out their day just to make sure all the kids in my neighborhood had a nice haircut for school, backpacks. Every Thanksgiving I pass out turkeys to less fortunate. Go to all the shelters Christmas Eve, and I don't even celebrate Christmas. I'm Muslim. born and raised, but I know that time of year is important to kids, and especially
Bless you,
that
man.
have not. I always, whether I'm stopping an ice cream truck in the middle of the street buying 20, 30 kids ice cream, I try to do my best, to inspire the youth. Like it's just two people that I knew was going to be bigger than me coming up from my city. Jared Anderson, one, and
Yeah.
Zai Cook.
I need to speak to you about him, by the way. I need to speak to you about him.
Okay, and a WNBA player named Zai Cook from my city as well. I seen what they had so young that I kept them under me all the time. Everything I did, I made them part so they would know what to do once they get to this level. And I'm just so proud of them and where they at right now in life. But everything I do is try to inspire the youth. You know what I mean? Because where I'm from is Toledo, Ohio. We don't have no major sports team in my city, and we never had like celebrities that made it. So
I like it.
So our boxers in our city is like we one-man sports teams. So
Like good. You should.
We like the only examples of them somebody seeing some type of success in sports that they know or it could be a part of. So I take that very. I don't take it lightly. So I try my best to keep my nose clean, as far as staying out of trouble and away from things that's unnecessary, and just try to be the best man I can be for myself, my family, and for the youth in my city.
Good man. Loads of love coming in.
And somebody say was my next fight. I just fought last Saturday, May 13th. I had a 10-round unanimous decision. I won every round against a former Olympian. He was a tough guy. He's kept headbutting, but I put him down in a second after they went survival. But I did my thing, So 23-0, 24-0 unofficially, number 3 in the world, and we just looking to wait and see what's next.
I like it. Question for you then, Jared Anderson, talented kid. I need to speak with him.
Heavyweight.
I need to speak with him.
Okay.
I need to speak with him. Need to.
Okay.
So
I try to put it together for you.
We're going to have to, because there's many of the heavyweights that I was the last person to interview Tyson Fury when he fought Wilder for the second fight, the most important fight. I need to speak to this kid only because he's talented. He's really talented. Really, is he southpaw?
He's orthodox.
Oh.
He just sometimes go get his man southpaw.
Okay.
No, but his last fight he fought the whole fight southpaw. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I probably saw his last fight. I saw him the other day and I thought you wouldn't be because he was a good kid, very talented, very talented, very fast. Doesn't waste anything.
They haven't seen half of the things he could do. Now, when I tell you can box and move around the ring and really slip and fight like a lightweight when you need to, you can. Like, the guy's talented. Like, he just right now, he on a mission. He's just going to get them guys and get them out of there. But if it ever comes a time where he got different dimensions.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna shout it out right now. You know me already. I think he already beats Joshua.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As is.
I think he beat Usyk too. He's too small for him.
I'm not sure about Usyk. Usyk's talented. I'll always be honest.
Hey,
and I believe you. I believe you. Listen, I respect your opinion.
He gonna fight him how Anthony Joshua should have fought him. Oppose his will.
Put it on him.
Be the big man, lay on him, throw him around, be aggressive, don't get in the box. Like, he's too small. I'm telling you.
How does he beat Tyson Fury though?
I didn't see the footage of the boxing.
Fight.
You know what I mean? I didn't see multiple. They had their days on each other. I give you that. You know what I mean? And that's when he was haven't even made his pro debut yet. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And Tyson was picking him to be the next. Yeah, so that's telling. You know what I mean? And he's just getting better. He's going to his prime. Tyson's getting older. But I think. So
do you think he's going to be the next great heavyweight? Because I would have no issue with saying that. I would think he may well be.
I believe so. And I think the guys on the top, outside of Tyson Fury, are the guys that I think he would beat. I think it'd be the other 100%. Contender guys. I think the other contender guys is the ones that's going to be the telling fights. But
let's look at it now, Albert, really quickly.
They keep getting upset. So I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know.
Really quickly, Albert, let's shape him up against some of the contenders, heavyweight contenders of today. Dylan White, he beats Dylan White.
For sure.
10 times out of 10. Who else is still fighting? Zhile Zhang, that'd be interesting, only because he's massive and he can punch. And that'd be a good fight.
Big guy.
Filip Ergovic, again, another great fighter. That'd be interesting. But still, that'd be a great fight. I wouldn't mind seeing that when he steps up. Trying to think who else. Daniel Dubois. I think he wipes the floor with Daniel Dubois.
He built different.
Yeah, he's more talented than Dubois. Dubois can punch. He's got a fantastic jab. And no disrespect, Daniel, I love you to bits, but I just think he's got the beating of
the mindset, and what's in here, different.
Yeah, listen, I might have to agree with you there. You know, I think Jared Anderson is the next big thing. We need to arrange that. We need to arrange it. I'd like to bring him on the show, and I'd like to bring it in front of the UK fans, specifically because we're so strong as heavyweights. So it'd be great to get his channel out there. I just want to say, you know, from my end, a huge amount of respect. I mean, you've been one of the most fantastic guests I've had for such a long time. You got so much about you, so much respect. So much love coming in from the UK and the rest of the world, by the way, I must say. So thank you very much for coming on the show, mate.
No problem, man. Anytime. I definitely appreciate you. You know what I mean? I made sure I hung out with Devin last night at his house, but I made sure I was up and ready for you.
Bless you. You're a top man. I'll see you soon. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for all the UK support. Make sure y'all follow me at Albert Prince Bill. I'm on there, down to earth, and reach out to me. I'll be get back with y'all, and I look to see y'all in the UK soon or back on in the ring soon. Appreciate y'all.
Top man. See you soon.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually quite shocked. What a great guy. Like, what an and David Jamieson, bless him. I mean, he's been there for like an hour now. Bless him. Probably a bit more. Waiting in the background. The little legend. Absolute little legend. I've had some fantastic guests tonight, and everybody just joining. Thanks for watching. I honestly swear to God, I appreciate every single person watching. I swear to Jesus. So thanks for everybody watching. Do me a favor, just press the share button now. Even if you've already done it, press share and make sure you like and comment. That's all I ask you to do. I really don't ask a lot, and trust me, there's a lot that goes into this. There really, really is. We've had some fun. Everybody just tune in. I've had Joe Cortez, Hall of Fame referee on tonight. I've had Albert Prince Bell, 24-0 as the next champion to bring him on. Now, I'm going to be bringing on next someone I'm so fond of. Like, I don't know why either. I don't know. I know you're back in I can see you there, David. I'm just dead fond of the guy. He just seems so genuine, so hardworking, no messing about. He's just a great guy. David Jamieson, he's a cruiserweight from Scotland, so you might need some subtitles, so you might have to slow down a little bit there, David. Joe Cortez, I can see you back in the background there, my friend. Love to you, brother. See, that's supposed to be a love art. There we go. Thanks for still tuning in. Right there, I need to bring him back on here. Joe, love you.
You're the best, buddy. I love your show. It's doing good.
Top man. See you in a bit. What a lad. So all I can say is, you know, David Jamieson, he's going to be fighting for an eliminator for the British title. He fought for a British title against Lowell, and then he unfortunately had a bad injury. He got his jaw broke, but he's going to be coming back in to fight very, very soon. So I'm going to be bringing him on now, Mr. David Jamieson. What a guy. David,
how are you doing, Dan?
I bet you're knackered, aren't you? You're fighting soon. I've kept you all this time.
I got a wee power nap in there on that last one, so we're good.
Oh, wow. I'm sure Albert's dead happy about that. Was he that boring?
No. What a man Albert is. He's great to listen to. Great insight. Speaks very well. Yeah. No, definitely.
Sound guy. I like a really, 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 really nice guy. Honestly, great guy. So, David Jamieson, I mean, you've had 12 fights, you've had 10 wins, 2 losses to the same person. But unfortunately, in that last fight, you had a really bad break of your jaw. So the fight ended the way it is. So what we're going to do, we're going to introduce you to the rest of the world. Everybody, watching, legends, comment. Every single person comment now, because I'm going to bring them in later. And make sure you like and make sure you share. I know I keep saying this, but it pushes the stream, helps more people see it. And I want to see legends like the real deal Jameson getting more people watching. And I know that a lot of people don't watch live. A lot of people, miles more people watch after, but still legends. Appreciate it. Sunday night, what else are you going to bloody do? Anyway, so David Jamieson. So tell us about you. Tell us about where you train. Tell us about where you're from in the most English Scottish.
Yeah. Right, I'll try and slow everything down for everybody. Yeah, so no, I'm from a place just outside Glasgow called East Kilbride, and I train in a small town called Blantyre. The gym's called Priestfield Boxing Club. I've been boxing since I was 15, so I started pretty late, as opposed to everybody else. Had about 50, 60 amateur fights, reasonable amateur record, and I've been a pro for 5 years. You obviously mentioned my record there. And I'm boxing in 3 weeks' time in a British title eliminator against a man called Chef Clark.
Lovely. Getting loads of love in here for you earlier. So Craig Pringle said, EK's finest. Another Scot here, who we get Joe Cortez, who's still watching here. We had to explain what he was saying earlier when Chris Harper came on the show to speak to Chris, to Joe. Finally, someone I understand. The Scottish are, I mean, listen, I can understand him like that, but for the Americans, I completely get that. A big shout out to Albert Bell, by the way, on YouTube. He put, thank you guys, and I appreciate it. Albert, what a guy, by the way. Just saying, David. What an absolute.
He's a top man. Honestly, spoke so well. You could have sat and listened to him all night there. Brilliant.
Really great guy. Jamie Rice said, EK's #1 son. Love this. Chris Harper said, let's go. Dean Beddoes, let's go. Beautiful place, Scotland. Lee McAllister said, even I'm going to put even the sheep need a translator for the real deal. Top lad, great potential under the right team. Like that's a great comment, actually. So let's talk about you. So you've only had, I can say one loss. I mean, it is down to 2 losses. 2 losses down to the first loss that was close, second loss that was down to a break in the jaw. So what I want you to do is educate me, educate everybody out there, everybody watching, legends, appreciate it. Tell us about this broken jaw. Now, I'm going to put my points across dead quick. I remember being caught with shots that were just, I couldn't chew for 2 weeks. Like, you've been there, I know you have. And I was like, you can't chew. You know the crack. When as soon as you press down, it hurts the back of your ear. Breaking your jaw, though, is a completely different thing. So talk to us about how it happened, the recovery.
I know what you're talking about when you're sparring, you're fighting, and you get that tightness in the muscles in your jaw, and you feel a bit weak, a bit tense. It was nothing like that. Obviously, I'm not in the practice of getting my jaw broken, but it was just the strangest feeling when it happened. I think it was the tail end of the 8th round, and the shot that landed, I knew right away something was wrong, and I think there was like 10 seconds to go in the round, so I just poker faced it, didn't show I was hurt. We exchanged jabs, I went back to my corner, and I knew right away something was wrong because the nature and the way the jaw had broken, the back of my mandible had caved in, and my 2 back teeth had actually burst through my gum and were sitting underneath my tongue. So my mouth was filling with blood. So people talk about what the fighters can do.
So these have gone down where? Underneath here, underneath your bottom.
My back 2 teeth, that's them, and the roots of them had actually burst through the gum and came through the side and were underneath my tongue. So your teeth sit like that along here, and they'd burst through and went under. So it was massive discomfort in my mouth. Everybody talks about, brave face, can you continue on? I just went back to my corner, and obviously I couldn't really speak that well, but I just said to Jerry, my coach, Jerry Higgins, I just said, listen, we're finished. It's done.
Yeah. That's rough, mate. That is rough.
So, listen, you don't play boxing, we know that. It was, but the recovery, the surgeons and the doctors that I dealt with in the hospital couldn't have been better. I went into surgery the following morning. They fitted a titanium plate in my jaw, so that now stays there.
So you're basically Iron Man now.
That's it. Aye.
What? You need to change your name from the Real Deal to the Terminator.
I'm the Terminator. Came in with the red eye and the glasses. Aye. But no, it was.
Wait there. That was actually Jurassic Park.
The recovery was it was grim because it was right through Christmas. So it was, I get my jaw broken the last week in November, and then so it was, I'm going to get my Christmas dinner, but I managed to get my Christmas dinner. It took me about an hour to eat it, but I managed to get it. I managed to go into solid food by then.
Fantastic. So your next fight, am I right in thinking it's Shave on Clock?
That's it. That's the man.
Okay, so I've got loads of love for you, but I'm saying this is from the outside, as I always do, fairly, So you've come off. I mean, you've lost, and then you arguably, and then you lost because you got your jaw broke, and now you've been put in against someone who's 5-0, 4 knockouts. Do you think they may be underestimating you a little bit here?
I reckon that I've said that in previous interviews. I think that's exactly why I've ended up getting this fight. Don't get me wrong. I think Chef Clark's got some miles on the clock as well. His whole he came through the GB squad. That's a hard fight for a few years. So I think that's testament to why he's in a British title eliminator and he's in only 6th fight. I think there's a bit of wear and tear there, Dan, and they're looking to maybe fast track him. They've looked at me on that previous performance and thought, look, I'm just a tough, durable lad, But it's total underestimating.
Yeah, I feel he might be right there, to be fair. I mean, looking at the start of a fight, when you watch a fighter, I mean, how do you analyze a certain fighter to see what you're going to do against him? What's the process there?
And that maybe shoots your question down a bit. Obviously, as you go up the levels, you need to look a bit more. But I've never watched tape. I don't. It's I let them worry about what I'm going to do. If you see what I mean. I trust my coach, Jerry Higgins. Trust Jerry, and I trust his knowledge. And Jerry, he does all the watching of the tape and comes up with a game plan how we're going to approach it. Don't get me wrong. For this, I'll watch. I'll pick up daft things, just like. Does he throw his jab from his hip? How does he throw his jab? I'll pick up daft things like that, but I'll not watch a whole lot of tape. I don't buy into that because say you go in there on the night and they come out with a totally different look.
They can be a completely different fighter on the night, literally, depending on what they ate the night before. So I get that.
So my view is be the best David Jamieson that you can be, and then let them worry about me.
I like it. Craig Pringle said, is there anything you do to chill, to pre-fight, like listen to specifically, or I suppose music, or before you go in the ring?
Yeah, I chill right up until I get my hands wrapped. I try not to burn up any unnecessary energy. And then when we start getting the hands wrapped, obviously, getting your hands wrapped professionally, it takes a bit of time for each hand. So you can be wrapping for maybe, it could be 20 minutes a hand sort of thing. Yeah. And I'm a big Oasis fan. Everybody,
mate, come on.
So I come out to Morning Glory, don't I? So I get some Oasis or like some Liam Gallagher.
Listen, I love you, and that, but you can't and the sun shines. Mate.
No, I'm going to wear it. I'm going to wear it, Dan. I get some Oasis blasting, and then I start getting into the zone, and I get myself hyped up. But I don't do that up until I really need to. A lot of boys have I just don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just enjoy the occasion. Get a blather with everybody who's in the changing room. See everybody, and then when the hands are getting wrapped, then that's when I get my game face on.
I like it. I was speaking to John Pegg the other day, who's a renowned cutsman, and he was talking about when you put the Vaseline on you, and it's almost like the wall paint. So I get it. I'm with you. I've been there. I do get it. So I've just looked down the questions list because I do loads of stuff, and I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna have some fun with you in a bit. I picked on you tonight, just saying. I don't normally, but you're my mucker. So still, let's have a quick look at what Lee said here. Unless the British Boxing Board of Control have changed the rules, I would watch what you're saying. Oh, okay. About having plates in your jaw, as I had to get all my plates out my face before I could get a license or get a fight again. As by the rules of British Boxing Board of Control, before you can't box metal in your face.
I appreciate that. Listen to fair dues, but it's all been cleared because I had to send off pictures of X-rays to the board and all that sort of stuff. So it's all kosher on that front.
Sure. Cool. Leslie said, "Good luck, David, in your career." Very cool. Like that.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Right. So this is definitely a turning point in your career. Against Siobhan Clark, it's a bit. Never say big ask. I mean, maybe you're the underdog. I would have thought on the day, considering this amateur background. Do you feel this is a must-win fight for you?
They're all must-win fights, Dan. That's yourself with snakes and ladders in boxing, especially when you've come up through the small hall show circuit. I'm not Anthony Joshua. I didn't turn professional off a gold medal and a big signing bonus and things like that. It's very much snakes and ladders. That's the analogy that I use for people that don't know. You need to keep winning because every fight you win just gets you that wee bit up. But if you lose, it's snakes. It's right to the bottom. And at 31 now, I'm sort of pressing on. I've been boxing for 16, 17 years. Can you start again from the bottom? No.
I like it. That's honest. I like it. So let's talk about a fight that's going to be coming up against fellow Scotsman Josh Taylor against Teofimo Lopez. One hell of a fight. It's almost gone under the radar though a bit. I'm not quite sure, and maybe one of them because I know Teofimo. I don't know Josh Taylor, but I know Teofimo, and he's a great guy. But it's a great fight. I mean, I'm thinking. For me, I mean, I don't know who wins the fight. I mean, who do you think wins the fight?
It's funny you're saying that. That's what I'm saying there. It's actually the same night as myself. It's the 10th of June. So for everybody watching, for tuning in to me, they can stay up and watch the Josh Taylor one.
Oh, surely they can watch you first and then watch them after.
That's the plan. That's it. Get some more viewers on it.
Make a night.
I do. It's a very interesting fight. Obviously, two exceptional fighters. I mean, Teofimo Lopez captured the imagination of just everybody a couple of years ago. Was doing stuff that Lomachenko done. It's totally revolutionised the game. But I'll be honest with you, I think he's got old sort of overnight. His last couple of performances have been sort of lacklustre. And my fellow countryman, obviously Josh Taylor. He's exceptional. I believe he's one of the sharpest fighters that I've seen. That sort of mid to long range boxing, and when he keeps you out in that range, I mean, there's nobody in the world as good as him. And I just believe because he's young and hungry, and Teofimo's maybe not that he's getting old, but he's maybe had that time in the limelight, and he's maybe on the slide a bit. I see Josh Taylor stopping him.
Okay. I disagree, you know. I don't do this often. I disagree. I think Teofimo's had a few demons. Teofimo is, I think I'm wrong, he's a friend, he's a good guy, but I'm not doing that I don't do that for them.
No.
Just like I would with you or anyone else. I think that Teofimo is going to show his class in this fight. And I think Teofimo is going to come out of his shell and show. I mean, that's my take on the fight. I think Teofimo is a fantastic fighter. Let's rewind a little bit to Jack Catterall against Josh Taylor. Why is he taking this fight against Teofimo when, in my opinion, he lost to Jack Catterall?
Right, well, a good question, Dan. And I think it's one that it's good for people watching who are not massively sort of familiar with boxing. Every other sport in the world, football, rugby, American football, they're first and foremost, they're primarily a sport. Boxing isn't. boxing's primarily a business. It tends to be about money. And yes, it's a passion, and we, as fighters, we do it because we love it and we're chasing a dream. But listen, if one fight pays you X amount and the other fight pays you twice that amount, you go for the glory, go for the money. More often than not, fighters are going to go for the money. I believe that, yes, okay, the Catterall rematch and things like that, it sort of fizzled out. It lost a wee bit of weight. And listen, Madison Square Garden against a legend like Teofimo Lopez, in the short time he's been in the game, he's already established himself as a bit of a, he's going to be a legend, he's going to be a Hall of Famer sort of thing. That's the big fight, isn't it? It was a no-brainer. And
let's attack you with a question then, David. Let's attack you with a question. Taylor, Catterall, who do you think won?
The first one?
Yeah.
I was actually there. I was there. I wasn't in the good seats. I was too far enough away from the ring. But when I watched it back the next day, you could definitely have said Catterall would have won it.
So you must understand the distaste, the foul taste in Catterall's mouth. The fact that he's being completely ignored when, in my opinion, I thought he got robbed.
Yeah, no, definitely.
At the same time, respect to Taylor, just to be clear. Respect to Taylor.
Okay.
I was there ringside when he fought Prograis. I was there next to the Sauerland, sitting there, and I've shouted him on when he won the Muhammad Ali Trophy at the O2 Arena. So don't think for a second that I don't support this guy. He's a Brit.
No.
He's a legend. I think he is right up there. But he was bested that night. Unfortunately, he was bested that night.
I totally agree with you, Dan. I mean, listen, it's boxing. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. It's somebody's got to be second place. And the fights that you just referred to there with Josh Taylor, I mean, Josh in that fight with Catterall was far from the Josh Taylor that you saw in the fights that you just referred to there. You hear fighters say it all the time, like, he couldn't get off. It was like his feet wasn't there, his head wasn't quite there. He just couldn't quite get his shots off. And see, to be honest, Jack Catterall really surprised me defensively. He was really quite slick. He was sort of shoulder rolling, that sort of Floyd Mayweather. Very, very impressive.
The opposite of what us Brits are taught. And the amateurs, to be fair. You know what I'm saying.
Look at my nose. We block punches with our face, don't we? But that's the deal. But he was very, very polished. I didn't see it in the arena on the night, but when I watched it back on the television the following day, and I could see all the wee intricacies, he was very, very clever inside. His mid-range inside work. He was very, very impressive. It was. Listen, I mean, being a fighter myself, and I've been in the broad end of some serious decisions in the amateurs years ago. It's a bitter pill to swallow. And that, listen, I heard like a story that Jack Catterall had to go back on the tools after that fight. He'd chucked his job to train full time. That was his big shot. That was going to take him from year to year. And
you can understand why he was upset, though, can't you? Do you know what I mean? I mean, for me, he did win the fight, and if he's and I've been there, bro. I've actually been there. I know the way he feels. I actually, and not. You know, people say, "I know the way you feel." No, I know the way he feels. Like, this might sound stupid because boxing's my life, but I was also a singer, and me and my wife sang on TV, and so I don't know if you ever knew this. Do you ever know this? Because people don't really. I don't talk about it. But
no, we need to talk more about
that. I don't. Yeah, boxing's my life, boxing. But me and my wife sang on X Factor, and we went on to X Factor, and we got onto the. I've said this a few times, but for people who've never watched, and we got to past Wembley, and we got picked by Robbie Williams, and we got to the 6-chair challenge. We won a chair on the 6-chair challenge a couple of years ago, just before COVID, and I went from being signing autographs at the Wembley Stadium at 11 o'clock that night, 12 o'clock at the night, 1 o'clock at the night, to going to work at 6 o'clock in the morning and walking past people who didn't even know who I am. And I went from there to boom, mate. I swear it was so bipolar. It messed with my head. So can you imagine being Jack Catterall?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying.
pound for pound champion and then getting robbed and then going back on the tools. I get it. I get it.
That as well. Something like somebody stealing something from you, somebody taking something away that's yours. But imagine somebody taking something from you on that stage. You know, the world
But he's
was
worked
watching.
his entire life, his entire career.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one, a very, very tough one to take.
Right, I'm going to go horrible with you now. You ready for this?
Oh.
I've only picked on you. Right, okay, cool. So I'm going to go some questions here that are nothing to do with your career. And I want everybody to get involved and comment. And I want to know what your answers are. Comment here. This is going to be fun. I haven't done this for ages. So a zombie apocalypse happens right now, and you can forge a weapon to fight off an amount of hordes of zombies. It might only be one, it might be two, it might be 10, it might be 50, it might be 100. But you've got to have one weapon, like a superhero. What are you going to pick?
Is that like a household object?
You forge it.
Like, can I have a pitchfork? Like Evil Dead stuff. Get like a pitchfork out the shed and strap my toaster pit and stuff like that. Is that the route we're going down?
I'm talking proper style. You can forge your weapon. Don't matter what it is, how cool it is, what it does. I'll tell you mine after, because I reckon I'd be horrible. So tell me what yours would be.
And it doesn't need to be stuff I've got in my house. It can be anything. Like I could have a shotgun with something on top of it. It doesn't need to be items.
Listen, we're not talking realistic here. We're talking zombie apocalypse. It's not a real thing. So choose anything that you can go and rob a shop or anything like that, and you're going to forge this thing together to be a machine or some kind of deadly weapon to kill loads of zombies. What are you picking?
I'd probably go for like a car. I'd probably go for I'd armour my car up, like Mad Max style, with big steel plates welded on it, like a big gun on the top of it, spikes in the tyres. Down that route, a big battering ram on the front. That's what I'd go for.
I love you like proper thought about that. Yeah, battering ram. Yeah. Shall I say where I'm going with? And I've always thought this. Like you remember them? Like there's like grips they used to have in the the Indian like war times back in like the 14th, 15th century. It used to be like a grip, and they used to have massive spikes on. And you go, do you imagine go bam, 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 just like Wolverine, mate? It'd end about 100 zombies.
That's too messy for me, Dan. I'd just be sitting in my car down the road, man.
I'm like bad jab, superb. Yeah, I'd be like Wolverine, the second coming. I really would. Right, second question for you then. Now you're a wrestler. What would your name be, and what would your special move be, and what would it be called?
Oh, this stuff takes too much thought. How would I come up with that? Right. Well, I would call myself the Flying Scotsman, and it would be something off the top. It would be something off the top rope. It'd need to be jumping off the turnbuckle, wouldn't it?
Quality, like a flying headbutt or something like that. Do you know you're like, this is going to be so hard? Actually, I'll be called the Flying Scotsman. It wasn't too hard, was it? Really, considering that sounds like a sick name, by the way. I like that. So. Last question is boxing related. So if you could completely eradicate, if you can completely diminish and remove anything from the sport of boxing, what would it be and why?
What would I take out if I could remove something from the sport?
Completely eradicate, completely take it away. What would it be and why would it be?
Bad judging. Yeah, just brings us back onto that last point. Bad judges' scorecards, bad decisions. Maybe I dare say it, a bit of corruption, because you'll be hard pushed to find a purer sport. And for any fighters or guys that are in gyms and see what the life we live and how much we pour of ourselves into this, of any athlete in the world, you deserve a fair shake. And for things to be taken away from you, look at Jack Carroll there. He's poured all his life into it, and it's been poured away from at the last minute. So I know that would be poor decisions, corruption, greed, if you could take that out of the sport, it would be certainly a better place.
Seems like everybody out there is commenting on drugs and performance enhancing drugs. Remove that from the sport. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Mate, what a lad you are. Honestly, like I see you so fondly. It's mad. It's mad. Like, honestly, whenever I see anything, I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. He's such a genuine, great guy. And where can we find you on social media? Where can all of us find you and support you?
I appreciate it, Dan. Honestly, mate, good man. Listen, you'll get me on Facebook, and it's just David Jamieson. And you'll get me on Instagram, and it's TRD, so it's the real deal, TRD Jamieson. And that's the exact same on Twitter as well.
TRD Jamieson, yeah?
TRD Jamieson, that's it.
Fantastic. And mate, I just want to say thank you, a huge thank you for coming on the show. What a guy. Like, what I never expected anything less. What a guy. Good luck in your upcoming fight. And then let's prove him wrong. Let's make sure Shave On gets.
Oh no, listen here.
I've got to be careful. I've got to be careful because I have to be
impartial.
But at the same time, partial, not mutual. Partial, but at the same time, I have to have my favourites. And I've always thought the world of you. And I really do wish you all the best. And I hope, main thing is that you both come out there safe and sound back to your beautiful families. And for yourself, what a legend. And thanks for coming on the show, David.
No, I really appreciate it, mate. Thanks for having us on. But hit me up in 3-4 weeks' time when I'm sitting here and we've went down and done a job on Siobhan.
Let's go, Jeff.
That's it. Let's go, mate.
Love it. Cheers, David. Take care, mate.
Thanks very much, Dan. Cheers, guys. Dan.
Legend. I've actually really enjoyed tonight. There's been 3 fantastic guests, like absolutely unbelievable guests, and not only that, I've got some unbelievable. I'll just release it right now, like while we're all on here. So next week we've got some fantastic guests again every single week. If you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, make sure you subscribe or like or do whatever you need to, because I just comment, just say hi, because I want to bring you on. And we've got legends every single week saying things you've never even heard of when it comes to boxing. So thanks everybody for watching, sharing, liking, commenting. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. Next week, we've got on Jeff Fennick, one of my second father's legends, like absolute the best ever Australian fighter. Lovely bloke from Australia coming on. And also Frankie Gavin, the only ever British English amateur world champion. Great guy. It's actually my first ever interview, believe it or not. Frankie Gavin in the amateurs, mad, 15 years ago or something, craziness. And his lovely partner who's going to be turning pro. So make sure you tune in next Sunday at 8:30 p.m. GMT back in the UK. And again, I say this, I really, really mean it. Thanks for everybody watching. Every single one of you, every single comment you've got coming in, every single moment or second you can give away from your lovely family to come and say hi. So listen, love you all. Take care. Stick into your boxing. And thanks for watching. You're all legends. Appreciate it.